Infrastructure is important to everybody.
And that infrastructure is supporting our daily lives.
It's a huge economic driver for every region in the country that's investing in infrastructure.
The American Society of Civil Engineers provides a way to determine what the quality of our infrastructure is. And we do that by producing a report card every 4 years. The 2017 ASCE Infrastructure Report Card overall grade is a D+. So what does that mean? The grades that go up, it's because we, either at the federal level, state level, or municipal level, are putting money into that sector.
Well, good infrastructure allows us to be more competitive in the world. And for example, we know work we've done shows that if we don't have a competitive infrastructure, it will cost this economy $3.9 trillion in our gross domestic product. That's the equivalent of the GDP of Germany.
Infrastructure is absolutely critical to the ability of manufacturers to compete and succeed. So for every dollar that is invested in manufacturing, another $1.81 of economic output occurs. From a position of economic strength, I don't think we have the option of failing to address our infrastructure challenges.
The 16 categories that we grade, while they are individual categories, do point to the fact, though, that our infrastructure is all tied together and that those 16 categories are tied together. So while we might invest a lot of money, for example, in water systems, if we fail to invest in the energy grid, the water system will not likely be able to perform as expected.
In some areas, we are investing.
The freight railroad system in the United States is second to none. And the reason it is second to none is because of its continued investment so that it meets the needs of today and puts us in a position to meet the needs of tomorrow. Measure
M is a new half-cent sales tax that will generate $860 million a year. 465,000 jobs will be created in the first 40 years of this measure.
So what we're implementing in Washington, D.C. is AMI, Smart Grid for Waters. We're now putting sensors on the underside of manhole covers that can tell information about pressure. We will be putting sensors with customers right on their intakes so we know information about water quality. That gives us an incredible set of information we then use to monitor the system. And we can pattern out what is exactly we're going to need to build and in what order, and how would we build it to most efficiently deliver that service to the customer base of today and tomorrow.
The Port of Long Beach is doing quite a bit on the planning side of things when it comes to reinvesting in our infrastructure. For the next fiscal year, we've got a robust program, $500 million in value, terminal redevelopment, rail, fire safety and security facilities. We've got our teams looking ahead into the future and saying, what is the world doing? We do that in a way that's geared at making sure that we're reliable, that we're efficient, and that we're sustainable.
We believe three things need to be done to fix our infrastructure challenge. Investment and planning in the system, bold leadership by our elected officials at the local, federal, and state, and planning for sustainability and resiliency in our infrastructure.
It's not acceptable today for our infrastructure to get the grades that we're getting. And when it comes down to it, ultimately, we're going to have to sometimes vote on a funding measure. We're going to have to say that this is important enough for us to spend a little bit more money.
You know, our nation's infrastructure has an impact on everything that we do. Each of us has an obligation to make sure that we're investing in our nation's infrastructure.
Each American has to commit to saying, you know what, I like the quality of life, I want the economic prosperity, and I'm willing to pay my share to make our infrastructure better than it has been in the past, because it matters to me personally.
You know, you could have predictive costs, or you could have sudden costs that are insurmountable, but you're not going to get away without doing something.